Happy deck on the green bin day. I am just doing a quick video while it's windy out, and I'll post later today about some of the steps on what I am doing before we start the deck. It's very windy out today, so just checking out. I have the ledger board started. Obviously it does not continue past, that's the end of one end, and then obviously it doesn't continue past that, so I can continue to go around, but I'll show you more details of that and also the process to start it. So I got all these cut down. I just put a fresh coat of spray paint on them just to make them look black. You could always leave them just galvanized, but I think this gives a nicer look. So that's cut even with the patio there with a level, so it gives about 2 inches above there. And then eventually I'll do some kind of mulch or wood chips or something. But this is a P3, so it holds a heavier load. And what I had to do on this one, since I have my clean out comes right through here, I had to dig down and get this as close as I could to the patio, because my plumbing line goes right here. So I dug down until I saw the pipe, the plumbing pipe, because it goes out to my septic system, and then that goes out to the leach field. I had to dig down, make sure I didn't hit the pipe, because I knew it was somewhat close, and I didn't want to have this over farther, because then it would be past the line I wanted. So I got it close to the patio, went down to 7 feet, and that's what that looks like. So here are the brackets. We had these welded. I would imagine we did the calculations. We added these gussets on the side to hold the weight. It's welded metal to metal, and then that, transfers down to the footing here. So this is where I'm going to have a doubled up ledger, 2 PWTs together, sandwiched together for the ledger, and it's going to sit on this. I'm going to put a screw up into the bottom of both of them, so it'll be 4 boards that come here, and it's going to have a slight angle on it because the building is circular. It's not a huge angle, but it's going to have a little bit of bevel cut, because I can't go from here all the way across here, otherwise it'd be out on the tip, and that one would be all the way back. So each one's going to have to get cut to come around, and then I'll screw up from the bottom of these. I'll have to drill a hole. This is a 3/8 plate, so heavy duty plate, and then it has that angle diagonal to pick up the weight, and then that weight obviously is on here, and this is all welded, and this is all bolted all the way up through the top, so it's not going to compress or anything. I've seen some silos where they've had the post right here, they put another post here, and then they put a beam across here like on a cantilever. So they put a post here, and kind of all the way around, so they have a post that kind of comes through. I don't know if they never thought of this idea where you could weld on that, and then that goes down to the footing. This is about 3 foot thick, this area is on the outside of the green bin. And then this is all bolted into one another, and then it's welded, so a nice strong weld so that doesn't pop off of there, obviously. So I had professional welders that are certified come do this. I did not do that myself or attempted to do myself, so they ground off the galvanized and make sure they had a good bond. So that's all done by a licensed professional welder on that, and that kind of wraps all the way around. So that's going to be the height of the inside rim board. The ledger board is going to be 7 1/4, doubled up all the way around, and then I can hang her into that. So it's going to be free floating in a way, but screwed up from the bottom of the steel plate. So that goes all the way around here. I think it's over 1,000 square feet deck is what I have for the tile. That I have some concrete tile coming from Deck Tech Tile, so check them out. They're a very good vendor, and they're 16 by 16 tile, And they're gonna sit all on top of this grate system that I've used before. It's a real good system, and I think the only way to do this tile, there's other ways to do it, but I found this is the best success and just works out the best. So that tile, it's gonna come, I'll have a 5-inch step into the threshold there. And that's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want anything too flush. I thought about it making it like right underneath the threshold, so it's transition, but just with the framing and where these are about 15 inches from the top, so 7 1/4. And then the grate system is 1.5 inches, and then another inch with the tile. So it gives it about a 5-inch step. I thought about putting a 6x6 here across, and then putting the LVL, the PWT on top, which I might do because this is only a 5-foot span. So I thought about having a 6x6 from here to here, cut that angle here to here. It's a slight, maybe 15 or 10 degree angle, and then I'll screw them together so they're all together, and then I'll screw up from there. I thought about doing the 6x6, just gives a little bit more beef on these brackets, so I might do that still. The one thing I would have to do is notch the PWT maybe 1.5 inches on the bottom, so it sits on top of that 6x6 seater, and then it would be just slightly under that sill. If I did not notch the PWT, it would be too high. It'd be about 1 inch higher than that threshold. And I have to have 2x8 PWT for the span. I can't use 2x6. If I had 2x6, it would work about perfect. But from here out to here, I'm gonna go 12 feet. So these are about 10 feet to 11 feet, and then it gets wider and wider as we go around the curve, but I'm gonna just cantilever it out and then just cut straight lines. So it's gonna have straight lines in between each post. So you got a post there and a post there. It's gonna have just a straight line there, another straight line there. So I'm not going to curve it. But here's like 12 foot out, 13 foot out, 13.5. This is 14 feet. So I needed 2x8 to pick up that load. I couldn't get away with a 2x6. It'd be max and past the span. And then here, from here to here, it's about 12 feet. So I could cantilever out quite a ways with the 2x8. And just depending on how much tile I got, when I get to that point, I'll probably do that part last and work my way around here. And then depending on how much tile I have, if I'm not wasting a lot cutting around this, then I'll just bump out to a full tile and then cut everything off there and cap it off there. So, but that's kind of the look and kind of the layout of the deck. So it's going to turn out really, really good. But I'll have these are all 6x6 posts. They're Eastern red cedar, so they're rough sawn by a mill here. I did not get smooth. I did not get Western. So the Eastern red cedar is about twice the weight, maybe 3 times the weight of Western, just really heavy duty and dense. So it will pick up the weight of everything. So it will work out well. And then, yeah, thinking about, like I mentioned, just doing that 6x6 here and wrap it around. I'm gonna glue the joint where that is. If it's 10 degrees, glue the joint and then put big lags into it. And then all I have to do is I would have to notch about 1 inch off the bottom of the 2x8 PWT just to sit it on top of that. And then I can probably run some screws through it, maybe, and then it'll be nice and strong and sturdy. But then that will get me a little bit closer to that threshold. That's kind of the layout of it, and it's going to wrap around, and then I'll have a set of stairs exiting that way. So the set of stairs will come off. So come off here. I don't know if I'm going to do a switchback, so it's going to come down, straight down, or I'm going to go down and then out into this area. So I don't know if I'm going to do a switchback or not, or a straight run. This is going to be it's going to be pretty high up, so I probably will do a switchback with a big landing. So, but that's how that is, and that's the original Chief sign that my daughter's painted. Turned out really well. So that's the colors that were kind of on it. On the back side, it was all faded, and that's what I looked up some photos, and that's what we decided to paint it. It could have been all white here, but we like the green for John Deere, and so that turned out good. And then we have a back sign here. It says, "Welcome to the bin." Just a little sign that my mom had made up. And these are all Anderson 100 series windows, black vinyl on the outside, and then white vinyl on the inside. And then these are all Therma-Tru doors and Anderson storm doors. So, and this is from here to here is about 10 feet, and then here about 12 feet. So about 22 feet to the bottom, and then 28 feet to the peak. So it's gonna be, deck's gonna be high up there. The railing, I have no idea what I'm gonna do for the railing yet. So that's all to be determined for the railing. I might just do Westbury around the majority, and then maybe from this span to this span have glass, and then Westbury here. So gonna do something that is simple to do. I gotta drill into the concrete tile. So something also that obviously Westbury, you pay some money for it, so that probably won't come right away. So it probably will not have a railing for a little bit of time until that time comes. But excited to get started on this and kind of get everything rolling. All the helicals have been in for over a year and just been sitting, and you know, like I mentioned, finally got them all cut, so they're all good to go and ready for the post, and we'll plumb all those up. I'm just going to run the post long, and then once I get this height figured out, probably just laser or level across there, laser level across there and get that height. But I'm just going to run them all long. I have a lift I'll bring out here and then just chop them all off with that lift. So that's how we're going to do it for now, instead of trying to get all these heights and laser everything at the beginning and then miss cutting one. Just going to run them long and then go from there. So this is the cedar I picked up from the local mill. It's Eastern red cedar. It weighs about twice as much as regular cedar. As you can tell, I grew through this thick plant. Pulled this all down, page 60. I ran it through the planer by 3/4. A little bit. I wanted it milled down a little bit. As you can say, it's rough saw. The top is smooth. I'll picture that later. Nice and smooth. Put it down and then the side. That is 3 ledger boards. This is going to come out and go, there's one post right there. It's going to go past that a little bit, and that will be the start of it. Right after you take the top of it and go from there. But that's what it is. And I thought about lagging the seam together, but the seam's not going to move. I have 2 bolts from the top, and I glued it with some PL. So pretty tight seam there as well. And then I got this one locked in, and then I'll put PL on the seam. If there's any little gap, I'll PL it so it locks it in, and go from there. But I have to drill all these. I have the pattern to drill so it hits properly on holes. I did a 5/16 hole so the lags can fit in there. But kind of work my way around. Definitely a windy one today, but that will keep going. I got 4 more to mill up for the day, and then I'll got a couple left to finish milling all the way. And this angle from one of the middle to the middle is 10 degrees, so it's not like a huge angle. Obviously you see the building is circular, but it's a 10-degree angle. And doing this project here, well, I got a couple weeks in between another project, so I want to kind of get this started and kind of just get the layout of it. But 10 degrees from this angle to this angle on this chop saw. I have a 12-inch chop saw, so I got to flip it and make 2 cuts on one angle because it's 5 3/4. I do have a beam saw, but I just don't trust cutting that 10-degree angle with that, and just simpler on my system that I have set up in my shop to cut it on the 12-inch chop saw. But that's what that looks like. So nice. Got one part on there, 3 pieces on there, so, but looking good. And then I'm gonna set the joist right on top and then put a hurricane uplift strap on it. And then I'm gonna have a rim board as well, I think on the back side or in between the joist, maybe the back side. And then I'll have to cut at 10 degrees too and kind of wrap around the whole thing. So that'll be interesting. All the cuts I think are going to be custom cuts, so it's not going to be a square cut on this thing. So I think everything will have to be cut at 10 degrees on all the joists as well, and kind of go from there. But stay tuned, first video of the deck, and we'll go from there. As you can see, all the helical piles are in and ready to receive the post.